I opened my phone at 6:42 a.m. to a group text from my family. We gave your seat to Selena instead. She brings better energy. Selena, my cousin's girlfriend of 2 months. I had spent $10,500 organizing a dream vacation for my dad's birthday. That text? It was the last thing they ever got from me for free. Let me rewind this fast and brutal train wreck for you because, oh man, it derailed spectacularly. I'm Bryce, 36, systems engineer, overachiever, perpetual family mule. 3 months ago, I booked a once-in-a-lifetime trip to Italy, Tuscany, Rome, Venice, all for my dad's 65th birthday. He'd always dreamed of walking through the ruins of Rome. My mom fantasized about pasta and wine tastings like it was a religion. My cousin, Shane, joked about meeting Italian girls. And me? I was dumb enough to pay for all of it. Flights, hotels, food tours, private driver. $10,500 in total. All prepaid, non-refundable. Why? Because I thought doing something epic might finally earn me something other than being the guy who fixes your Wi-Fi and pays your bail when you accidentally miss court over a parking ticket. And then it happened. The morning of departure, my phone pinged. We gave your seat to Selena instead. She brings better energy. Selena. The yoga influencer Shane had been dating for maybe 10 weeks. The girl who once asked if dolphins were mammals or just big fish with good PR. They replaced me, the guy who paid, with her. I didn't reply. Just stared at the message while my toast burned. Better energy. Like this was a high school dance and I got voted off the limo, so I did the only thing I could do. I nuked the trip, logged into the airline portal, canceled every ticket, every hotel, every museum pass, every food tour. Gone. Then I shut down the travel card I'd used to book it all, called the bank, reported fraudulent changes. Suspicious activity? You bet. By 9 a.m., the only trip anyone in that group was going on was a guilt trip. And the best part? No one knew yet. See, they were already at the airport, posting pre-boarding selfies. Shane doing peace signs, Selena holding a neck pillow like she invented it, Dad smiling, Mom beaming. I didn't exist in a single shot. My name? Nowhere. I watched from the window of my apartment, sipping bitter coffee with a bitterness to match. Not sad. Just done. Done playing doormat with a debit card. Done being the plan B for a family that never chose me when it mattered. Let's go back a few years. Shane and I grew up more like siblings than cousins. Our dads were brothers. He was the charming one, the screw-up, the he just needs time golden boy. When he dropped out of college, I paid his rent for 6 months while he pursued creative freedom. When he wrecked his car street racing, I co-signed the loan for his next one. When he got fired from the smoothie bar for emotional exhaustion, guess who bought him groceries? Right. Me, Selena, entered the picture 2 months ago. She vapes essential oils, sells astrology birth chart readings online, and once told me I had trauma-ridden Capricorn energy. The moment she walked into my parents' home, she took over. Declared the trip to Italy wasn't inclusive enough. Pitched a group ceremony to release ancestral burdens under the Tuscan moon. I thought they'd laugh her out of the room. Instead, my mom offered her wine and asked about her rising sign. It wasn't just disrespect. It was proof that they didn't see me. Not as a son, not as a cousin, just as a resource. The guy who'd get it done, and then vanish from the photos. So I vanished on my own terms. By the time their plane was supposed to land in Rome, I was already on my laptop booking something else, not another trip. A reckoning. The house they were living in? Mine. Bought it 3 years ago when my parents ran into temporary financial hardship. Temporary turned into permanent. Shane moved in last year, rent-free. Because of course, that night I went over, changed the locks, left a note on the door. Your energy has been evicted. I slept better than I had in years. Then the calls started. First from Mom, then Shane, then Dad, then Selena, leaving me a voice memo that sounded like a cult leader trying to hex me with her chakras. I ignored every single one, until the hotel in Venice called. Sir, there's an issue with the reservation. The guests have arrived, but the credit card is invalid. Oh, you don't say? I smiled and said, cancel everything. They're not authorized. She paused. Sir, they're already at the property. Then kindly have them escorted off. Grazie. The next morning, they were kicked out of a luxury villa with their designer luggage and no backup plan. I got a blurry photo from a former friend of Shane's on Instagram. The 4 of them sitting on a bench outside the train station. Sweaty, furious. It was the best thing I'd seen in months. I expected rage, explosions, threats, some kind of nuclear-level meltdown. Instead, silence, which, frankly, was worse. I waited 2 days before checking the family group chat. Nothing. No dramatic exits, no long paragraphs. Just a frozen photo of pasta Selena posted with the caption, "Always find the beauty in breakdowns." Breakdowns? Babe, y'all got ejected from a $1,000 suite and tried to buy train tickets with a canceled card. I'm not sure what part of that is beautiful, unless your definition of serenity includes heat stroke and public Wi-Fi. By the 3rd day, my phone lit up. Shane. Bro, seriously? You canceled the entire trip? What the hell is wrong with you? I stared at the message, let it breathe for a second, then replied, "You gave my seat to a stranger with a nose ring who thinks Roman ruins are a conspiracy." No answer, until midnight. Mom, we need to talk. We're in trouble, please. In trouble. The phrase hit like sweet jazz. I guess it turns out that when you replace the person funding the trip, you lose the trip. Who knew? That's when Dad finally texted. Just 3 words. We're coming home. Oh? With what money? Last, I checked that return flight was part of the package I booked, and then deleted like bad code. They eventually managed to fly back, through 3 layovers on economy, packed in with crying babies and soggy sandwiches. From what I heard, Shane's suitcase got lost, and Selena had to share socks with my mom. I laughed so hard I nearly dropped my smoothie. Then came the real fireworks. I was sipping coffee in my apartment, watching the sunrise, when the call came in. Unknown number. I answered. Silence for a moment. Then Shane, voice cracking. With exhaustion and fury. "You changed the locks?" I leaned back in my chair. Sure did. "You kicked your own parents out of the house you promised to let them live in." Correction, I said calmly. I let them live there rent-free for 3 years. That offer expired the moment I became a replaceable extra in my own life. There was a pause. Then, "You can't do this." "Oh, but I can," I said. "You gave my seat away. I'm just giving your bedroom the same treatment." Click. 3 hours later, they showed up at the house. I watched from the camera on the porch. Yes, I installed Ring after the 3rd accidental entry through the garage. They stood there, bags at their feet, Shane kicking the step like it insulted him personally. Selena had her phone out recording. For TikTok, I assume. Caption: "When your vibe gets you kicked out of a family vacation and a house," she tried the doorknob. Nothing. Then they rang. Boom, boom, boom. I ignored it, let them simmer. Eventually, my dad knocked. Softer. Polite. Like the silence had cracked through his loyalty to neutral ground. I let them stand there until sunset. Then, I sent a text to the group chat. "The house is under renovation. Come back in 2 weeks. If you're planning to stay, the rent is $4,200 a month, due on the 1st. Utilities not included. Selena's not on the lease." That was the moment the dam broke. Mom called immediately. "You're not serious. You're being dramatic." I said. "Because the way I see it, you all voted me off the island. Now you get to live like survivors." She tried guilt. "We're your family, and I was your bank." Silence. Then her voice dropped low. "Your father's hurt. We did this for him, to make it special." Special? I laughed. "You mean replacing me with Shane's girlfriend for his birthday? He didn't even like Selena until 3 weeks ago. He said she talked like a TED Talk got drunk." "He didn't mean that," she snapped. "And you didn't have to ruin everything." "No," I said. "But I wanted to, because here's the thing. I realized I'd been trying to earn a place in a family that only valued what I could give them. And once I stopped giving, I stopped existing. So I started taking. First the house, then the money. Now, their comfort." The next day, I filed formal notices, lease terms, new rent, legal deadlines. Shane and Selena tried to move back in anyway. I called the cops, trespassing. 2 squad cars showed up. One officer asked if I wanted to press charges. I didn't. Watching them get dragged off the porch, in front of the neighbors, was enough. Selena screamed something about suing for emotional damages. Shane told the cop I had ruined his career. "What career?" the officer asked. "Exactly." That night I got a DM from Selena. You're heartless. I was trying to bring joy, I replied. Then maybe you should have brought a return ticket too. She blocked me. Good. I wasn't finished yet. You know what really cracks me up? They still thought I'd cave, like this was just one of my episodes. And I'd calm down after some passive-aggressive texts and a few guilt-laced voicemails. Instead, they got mail. Certified, signed for, lawyer-approved eviction notices, and a copy of the new lease, printed in bold, $4,200 month. Utilities not included. Guest privileges revoked. Shane called me 15 minutes later. Bro, what is this? You're not serious. I had him on speaker while meal prepping a Thai stir-fry in my pristine, drama-free apartment. Very serious, I said. Clause 7B. Covers subletting and unauthorized cohabitants, so unless Selena's planning to pay half, she can vibe somewhere else. You're weaponizing a lease agreement? No, I'm using boundaries. Big difference. He hung up. 2 days later, a knock at the door. Not my parents, not Shane. It was a courier. Legal envelope. Hand-delivered. Inside, a letter from their attorney. More specifically, from some washed-up friend-of-a-friend family lawyer who probably printed it between microwaving gas station taquitos, claiming implied equity in the home. That since my parents had lived there rent-free for years, they had contributed to its value. I laughed so hard I scared my neighbor's dog through the wall. Implied equity? This isn't Monopoly, pal. You don't get Boardwalk just because you crashed on it long enough. I forwarded the letter to my attorney, Calvin, a meticulous genius with the personality of a loaded scalpel. He read it, chuckled once, and replied, "We'll respond with facts. Let them bring feelings to court." So we did. Included bank statements, property tax records, proof of me paying every single expense from roof repairs to Christmas lights, screenshots of texts where my mom thanked me for keeping a roof over our heads, audio recordings of Shane joking that he'd never pay rent as long as Bryce was alive. Whoops. My lawyer responded with a notice of intent to sue for back rent, dating from the day they moved in. Total owed? $132,000. Interest not included. Let me tell you, that's the kind of number that turns guilt trips into actual trips. To a job interview. That same night, Shane posted a rant on Facebook. When your own family turns on you for clout and cash, you realize blood doesn't mean love. Attached. A blurry photo of him holding Selena's hand while she stared at her phone, clearly mid-scroll. Top comment? From Selena's ex-roommate? Didn't you once say Bryce was your retirement plan? Shane deleted the post within an hour. Too late. I screenshotted everything. My mom tried again. She called from a new number, thinking I wouldn't recognize it. I picked up. Bryce, please. We just need time. You had 5 years. Your father is sick over this. Sick from the wine. Or the guilt? Don't talk to me like that. Then don't talk to me at all. She hung up. That week, I found out Shane applied for a job at the dealership where I bought my car. He didn't get it. Turns out, yelled at customers on a canceled wine tour doesn't look great on a resume. Meanwhile, Selena started posting spiritual breakup reels. Sometimes the universe forces you to evolve by destroying everything safe. I'm vibrating. Higher now. Girl, the only thing vibrating is your Venmo after that trip went up in flames. They moved into a crappy rental on the edge of town. I know because Shane's friend tagged him in a group pic labeled, "Welcome to the Mold Palace." They had no furniture, no Wi-Fi, and apparently no air conditioning. Summer in Arizona will humble you fast. A week later, Shane showed up at my place. No warning. Buzzed the intercom until I finally answered. "What do you want?" His voice was low. "I just need to talk." I let him in. He looked awful. Sunburned. Hollow. Wearing a shirt I recognized as mine from 2 years ago, he stepped into my apartment like he was entering a museum. Everything was clean, quiet, peaceful, no crystals, no sage smoke, no yoga mat in the hallway, just stability. We sat across from each other. For once, he didn't start with excuses. "I screwed up," he said. I didn't interrupt. Just let him squirm. Selena left. She said I brought bad energy and, yeah, she's not wrong. He looked down. I thought if I was the fun one, I'd matter. You were always the serious one. The reliable one. I didn't realize that meant you were carrying all of us. I took a sip of water. "Why are you here, Shane?" He blinked. "To say I'm sorry." I nodded, then stood up, walked over to the counter, picked up an envelope and handed it to him. He opened it. Inside was a bill. Back rent, damages, lawyer fees, $132,000, neatly itemized. He stared at it. You're actually charging me. I nodded. You used me like a credit card with a soul. Now the soul's gone, just the balance remains. He didn't argue, didn't cry, didn't beg, just stood, folded the bill, and said, "Guess I better get to work." Then he walked out. No drama, no screaming, just the weight of every bad choice finally landing on his shoulders. Not mine, for once. And me? I turned on music, made tea, and lit a candle that I actually liked. The peace wasn't quiet anymore. It was powerful. I hadn't heard from my parents in 2 weeks, which was rare. Normally, my mom would be texting Bible quotes thinly veiled as guilt grenades, and my dad would be liking every Facebook post I made like that somehow counted as communication. Then, out of nowhere, a knock at my door. Not a ring. A knock. I looked through the peephole. It was them. Dad in a pressed polo, like this was a Sunday brunch. Mom holding a Tupperware container, her signature trap. Homemade lasagna, layered with guilt. I opened the door a crack. She smiled. "Hi, sweetheart." I didn't smile back. Dad cleared his throat. "We're here to talk. Just talk." I let them in because I wanted to hear what the performance would sound like up close. They sat on my couch, visibly uncomfortable. My apartment didn't smell like chaos. No unwashed dishes, no noise, no shame. Just eucalyptus candles and judgment. Mom set the Tupperware down like she was placing an offering at a temple. "We've been thinking," she started. Dangerous sentence. "And we realized things got out of hand." Out of hand? "Ma'am, this wasn't a candle left burning. This was arson with receipts. We just miss how things used to be," she continued. "When we were all close." Close? Is that what you call replacing me on a trip I paid for? Throwing me out of a family photo so you could have Selena's better energy? Is close when you watched me bleed money for 5 years and never asked if I was okay? I said none of that. I just raised an eyebrow. "And we're sorry if you felt unappreciated," she added quickly. "That was never our intention." If. Classic non-apology. Dad finally spoke. "Look, we just want to move past this. Let bygones be bygones." I leaned forward. "Sure, let's move past it. You owe me $87,000 in unpaid rent and damages. That's moving forward." Their faces dropped so fast I thought gravity increased. "You're charging us?" Mom whispered. "Damn right," I said. "You lived in a fully furnished house I paid for. Used utilities. Damaged the walls. Replaced the washer with a busted second-hand unit I specifically told you not to touch. Shane spilled wine on the carpet and never cleaned it. And you added unauthorized residents without permission." Dad shook his head, muttering, "You've changed." I smiled. "Yeah, that's what happens when you stop getting used." Mom clutched her purse like I was about to rob her. "We don't have that kind of money." "Then get jobs," I said. "Or a payment plan. Or maybe ask Selena to open a GoFundMe called Vibrations for Vengeance." They didn't laugh. They just sat there, stunned, as I pulled out another envelope. Inside, a formal demand letter. With interest calculations. Mom put her hands up. "This is insane. You're tearing the family apart." "No," I said, standing up. "You tore the family apart. I just turned on the lights so everyone could see the mess." Dad looked away. Mom stood, trying one last card. "We're your parents, and I was your safety net." I walked to the door and held it open. She paused. "So, this is it?" I nodded. "Yeah, this is it." They walked out without another word. No slamming, no screaming, just silence. The same silence I'd lived with my whole life when I needed something and no one showed up. A week later, I got an email. Their lawyer, again. Subject, settlement proposal. They were willing to pay some of the back rent. Not all, no damages, no interest. They wanted it swept under the rug, tied with a ribbon labeled Family Unity. My lawyer laughed so hard he nearly spilled his cold brew. "Send a counter, full amount, or we go to court." So we did. Filed suit. Took them to small claims for as much as the court would allow. Enough to sting. Enough to make headlines in our little suburb where everyone pretends dysfunction doesn't wear a cardigan and serve cobbler. Court date set. The day came. They didn't show. We won by default. Judgment entered. They now owed me $15,000. Just from that round. More to come. And you'd think that would be the end of it. But nope. Mom still tried to spin the narrative online. Posted a vague status. "Some people are so blinded by money they forget who changed their diapers." Top comment. "Maybe if you'd changed the locks instead, he wouldn't have." I didn't even need to defend myself. Everyone already saw the truth. And the truth? It felt damn good. I thought that would be it. Court judgment issued, debt formalized, family ghosts exorcised, but like every horror movie villain, they weren't dead. Just lurking behind the curtain, waiting for one last scare. It started with a text from my aunt, Shane's mother, a woman who once told me I smiled too little to be lovable. You've made your point, Bryce. It's time to come home. Come home? Lady, I nuked the bridge, paved over the ashes, and built a spa where your family used to sponge off me. Still, I ignored it. Then I got the group invite. Family restoration brunch, hosted at Aunt Claire's rental home. No RSVP, no warning. Just dumped into the calendar like nothing had happened. I laughed out loud. Apparently, I was expected to roll in with a fruit tray and pretend the last 6 months were just a misunderstanding, not a systematic emotional mugging with receipts and legal paperwork. Hard pass. I declined the invite. They added me again. I declined again. They tried texting me individually. Claire, your parents are heartbroken. Me. So was I. Turns out we recover. Shane, you don't get it. They're sick over this. Me. Tell them to use their new energy to heal. I figured they'd finally quit. But then Mom called. Again. I stared at the screen for a full minute, then picked up. Bryce, it's your father. I leaned back in my chair, waiting. He collapsed at work. Heart arrhythmia. They're doing tests. I said nothing. The doctor said stress could have played a role. He's not well. He needs peace. He needs his son back. There it was. The guilt boomerang. But it didn't hit this time. Because I knew the truth. My dad hadn't spoken up once. Not once. During the trip debacle, the eviction, the financial fallout, the court case. His silence was a choice, just like mine was now. Still, I said, I hope he recovers. Then come see him, she said. For your father, be the bigger person. I replied. I was the bigger person, until it crushed me. Then I hung up. And guess what? Dad got better. Released a week later. No surgery needed, just rest. And apparently, some reconciliation. Because the next thing I saw was a picture. Online, a backyard barbecue. Rebuilding family bonds. There was Shane, tongs in hand, like he hadn't tried to Venmo me $20 for gas the week prior. My parents, my aunt, even Selena. Yeah, she came back, because toxic always circles the drain. I stared at the picture and realized something strange. I felt nothing. No spike in blood pressure, no heat behind my eyes, just a dull echo where pain used to live. So I did something impulsive. I bought a plane ticket, not to them, to me. Northern California, redwoods, silence, a solo weekend to a cabin I'd always dreamed of visiting but never booked because someone always needed me to pay for their dreams first. I hiked for hours, slept with no phone, woke up to fog and the sound of nothing but wind and possibility. And then, the last day, I got one final text from Shane. I'm moving. Got a job in Seattle. Thought you'd want to know. Thanks for the lesson, man. For real. That hit weird. I stared at the message for a long time. He'd never thanked me for anything. Not when I paid his rent. Not when I co-signed his car. Not when I bailed him out of that it wasn't really shoplifting mess. But now, after I cut him off, sued him, made him face himself, now he got it. And it confirmed everything I'd come to believe. Some people only evolve when you stop saving them. When I got back home, my lawyer called. The second round of claims for damages, unpaid utilities, and the wine-stained carpet had cleared. Another $200 awarded in my favor. I smiled. Revenge isn't loud, it's paperwork and peace. I used part of the payout to replace everything in my apartment that had even the slightest stain of my family's fingerprints. New couch, new bed, new kitchen set. Every piece of furniture, mine, bought for me, chosen by me. No freeloaders, no guilt. I even burned the old guest towels. Call it petty. I call it ritual. That night, I made steak, medium rare, glass of red wine, jazz on low. I wasn't celebrating the money. I was celebrating the end of them, of that version of me, and the beginning of something better. It ended on a voicemail. Not a visit, not a text, not a scream or sob or apology. Just a voicemail from Mom. Your father's birthday is next Saturday. We're having a small gathering. It would mean a lot to him. To me, if you came. Please. I played it once, then again, then deleted it. And for the first time in 36 years, I didn't flinch at cutting the cord. No guilt, no second guessing. I'd already celebrated his birthday once, with a $10,000 trip I planned, paid for, and was erased from. I wasn't giving them a second shot to forget me in person. Instead, I wrote him something. A speech. A eulogy, really. Not because he died, but because I finally buried who I used to be. The good son, the ATM, the safety net with a beating heart. To the man who never hit me, never yelled, never cursed, but still let me drown quietly, one favor at a time. You taught me that silence is cruelty in a suit, that love without action is just another manipulation, that loyalty to neutrality is loyalty to abuse. I was never the fun one, never the golden boy, never the one who made people laugh at parties. I was the foundation, and no one thanks the floor until it crumbles. You smiled when they took from me, laughed when they mocked me, said nothing when they replaced me. So I did what you always did. I stayed silent. But this time it was on purpose. Now I'm living a life where no one uses my name to open a credit line. No one eats food I paid for and calls it theirs. No one forgets I exist until the check arrives. This isn't vengeance, it's resurrection. And I won't return to the tomb you buried me in. I folded the paper, tucked it away. Didn't send it. Didn't need to. I said it aloud to myself under the glowing sky on a quiet balcony that I owned, lit by lamps I bought, surrounded by silence I earned. And then I planned my own trip. Not for a birthday, not for a reunion, not for anyone else. Just for me, Reykjavik, Northern Lights, ice caves, a week of frozen air and 0 family group chats. I paid in full, packed light, left nothing behind that wasn't mine. At the airport, waiting to board, I scrolled through my messages. One unread from an unknown number. I heard what happened. I always thought you were the strong one. I'm glad you finally saw it too. Selena. I didn't reply. She had her chance to shine with her better energy. Now she can charge it with someone else's flashlight. My seat on the plane was window side. Clear view. As the jet lifted off, I stared down at the city I used to bend over backwards for, the skyline, the streets, the past. And I didn't feel sad. I felt untouchable. 2 months passed. Shane sent one more text, just a photo, of him in an office, lanyard around his neck under a sign that read, Client Services. His caption, Day 1, debt-free, thank you. For the burn, I didn't smile. I didn't cry. But I felt something sharp and satisfying. Not revenge, not justice. Closure. Then came Mom's last message. A long one. We don't recognize who you are anymore. You used to be so helpful, so kind. This new version of you, he's cold, unforgiving, not the boy we raised. I wrote back one sentence. That boy died the day you told me fun mattered more than family. And that was that. They stopped. Messaging. No more invites, no more favors, no more rewriting history, just silence, the kind that doesn't demand a reply. I keep a note on my fridge now. Simple. Black marker. I owe no one more than I owe myself. Every morning I read it like a blessing, because I used to think sacrifice was love. Now I know. Love doesn't leave you out of your own story. It doesn't replace you with someone shinier. It doesn't call you selfish when you finally say no, and it sure as hell doesn't show up after taking everything and ask for more. So if anyone ever asks what happened to me, tell them this. I was replaced on a vacation I paid for, so I replaced them in my life, permanently. And this time, there's no return flight. And here it is, the finale of today's story. Did everything turn out as you imagined, or did it end unexpectedly? I'd love to hear what you think. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and let's dive into the discussion together. If this story kept you in suspense, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? This is your chance to join an incredible community where exciting new stories unfold every day. Click the subscribe button and turn on notifications to stay up to date. Thanks for your attention and see you on your new adventures.